You black bitches think you run this place? That nappy hair makes you somebody? Sergeant Tyler Grant, white, badge shining, grabs Joanna by her locks and slams her head against the chair. 3 white cops circle one black woman in handcuffs. She's nothing to them. Let me teach you respect. The clipper roars. He drags it across her scalp like she's an animal. 18 minutes. Hair falling in black coils. They laugh. She counts ceiling tiles. 247. They don't know she's Superior Court Judge Joanna Robe. Black woman. 15 years on the bench. Memorizing everything. 16 hours later, she walks back in. Not in orange. In her judge's robe. Black silk over her shaved head. Grant loses everything. Badge, pension, freedom. This is how one racist joke destroyed 3 cops. If you've been judged by your skin, stay. Comment. Legal revenge or walk away. Cell Block C, March 14th. They shaved the wrong woman. 11:47 p.m. Joanna adjusts the rear-view mirror in her 2016 Honda Accord. Mozart plays softly on NPR, the violin notes filling the quiet cabin. The leather seat has a tear in the left corner, patched with duct tape 3 years ago. Cold coffee sits in the cup holder, forgotten hours ago. Interstate 5 stretches empty ahead. Sacramento to Riverside, 150 miles. She's driven this route twice a week for the past month, ever since her mother's diagnosis. Stage 4 lung cancer. Dorothy Robe, 78 years old, fighter until the end. Today was chemo day 12. Joanna held the basin while her mother vomited, changed the urine bag, measured morphine doses. Things a daughter does. Things a judge never mentions in court. 15 years on the bench. Riverside County Superior Court. Civil cases, mostly. Contract disputes, property claims, divorce settlements. She prides herself on fairness, reads every brief twice, listens before ruling. Never late, never biased, never breaks. Behind her seat hangs a black garment bag. Inside, her judge's robe. The backup. She keeps it for emergency court calls, for moments when duty interrupts life. The silk is cool to touch, heavy with responsibility. She tells young lawyers, never leave home without your armor. The robe reminds them and you who you are. Tonight, she's just a daughter driving home. Hair pulled back in natural locks she's worn for 6 years. A statement of identity, of pride, of refusing to conform to expectations that black women should straighten, smooth, diminish themselves to fit courtrooms built by others. Her phone buzzes. A text from the court clerk. Hope your mom's doing better. See you when you're back. Take your time. Joanna doesn't respond. She needs both hands on the wheel, needs to focus. The highway is quiet. A semi passes on the left. Taillights glow red ahead. Normal. Peaceful. The kind of night where nothing should go wrong. She checks the time. 11:51. If traffic stays light, she'll be home by 1:30. Sleep. Wake at 8. Call the hospice nurse. Make her mother breakfast. The routine that keeps grief manageable, that keeps the world from spinning too fast. In the garment bag, the robe sways slightly with each lane change. She doesn't know yet how important that robe will be. Doesn't know that 16 hours from now, it will transform from backup to weapon, from symbol to shield. Red light ahead. Joanna slows, stops. Foot on brake. Engine humming. Mozart still playing. In her rearview mirror, blue and red lights flash. The patrol car pulls behind her. Spotlights flood her cabin. Joanna's heart rate stays steady. She's done nothing wrong. Expired tags? No. Renewed last month. Broken taillight? She checked yesterday. Speed? She was going 63 in a 65 zone. She puts the car in park. Turns off the radio. Silence now, except for her breathing and the tick of the cooling engine. Reaches for her purse slowly, deliberately. License, registration, insurance card, everything in order. Footsteps approach. Heavy boots on asphalt. She rolls down the window. Cool March air streams in. The flashlight hits her face. Stays there. Too long. Deliberately too long. Evening. The officer's voice is flat. No courtesy. Just assessment. Good evening, officer. Joanna keeps her voice calm, professional. Judge voice. The voice that commands silence in courtrooms. Is there a problem? The flashlight moves to her dashboard, her passenger seat, back to her face. She squints but doesn't look away. License and registration. She hands them over. Her hands don't shake. 15 years of controlling courtrooms taught her control. The officer, badge reads Diaz, walks back to his car. She waits. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. This is too long for a simple check. Another car pulls up. Backup. Why does a traffic stop need backup? The second officer approaches. Taller, older. Name badge, Grant. Ma'am, step out of the vehicle. Not a request. A command. Joanna doesn't move immediately. Officer, can you tell me what this is about? I wasn't speeding. My registration is current. Your license plate doesn't match DMV records. Grant's hand rests on his belt, near the cuffs. A casual threat. That's not possible. I renewed. Step out of the vehicle. Joanna unbuckles slowly, opens the door. The air is colder than she expected. She stands beside her car, 5'6", wearing jeans and a Stanford Law sweatshirt. A woman who looks nothing like a threat. Grant circles her car, shines his light inside. You been drinking tonight? No, sir. Where are you coming from? Sacramento, visiting my mother. She's ill. Uh-huh. He doesn't believe her, or doesn't care. You got ID proving who you are? She points to Diaz. I gave my license to your partner. I need to see it again. Joanna reaches for her purse through the car window. Grant moves closer. Slowly. She pulls out her wallet, opens it. Inside, her driver's license, credit cards, insurance cards. Her judicial ID is at home. She wasn't working tonight. Didn't think she'd need it. Grant examines the license. This address current? Yes. You live alone? That's not relevant to a traffic stop. His eyes narrow. I'll decide what's relevant. You giving me attitude? No, sir. I'm asking why I was pulled over. Your plate came back wrong in the system. He hands the license back to Diaz. Call it in again. Full check. They're stalling. She knows this tactic. Sees it in her courtroom when weak cases need time to manufacture probable cause. 10 minutes pass. Joanna stands beside her car, cold, tired, wanting only to get home. Grant returns. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to take a field sobriety test. I haven't been drinking. Then you won't mind proving it. She does the test, walks the line, touches her nose, stands on one leg, passes everything. Obviously. She had 1 cup of coffee 8 hours ago. Grant confers with Diaz. Low voices. She can't hear the words but reads the body language. They're deciding something. Looking for something. An excuse. Ma'am, you were uncooperative during this stop. Grant pulls out his cuffs. Uncooperative? I answered every question. You hesitated when I asked you to exit the vehicle. You reached into your car without permission. You told me to get my ID. You're being detained for obstruction. Obstruction? Her voice rises slightly. First crack in her composure. This is illegal. Turn around, hands behind your back. She counts. He touches her 7 times in 90 seconds. Shoulder, arm, wrist, lower back. Each touch deliberate. each touch asserting control. She files it all away. Evidence, timeline, witnesses. The cuffs click shut, metal cold against her wrists. Grant speaks into his radio. One female in custody, uncooperative, transporting to county. Joanna says nothing, but she looks back at her car, at the garment bag hanging behind the seat, the black robe inside. 16 hours. She just doesn't know it yet. Grant opens the patrol car door. Watch your head. She sits. The plastic seat is hard, uncomfortable, meant to be. Through the window, she watches Diaz search her car. Finds nothing, of course, just cold coffee and Mozart and a robe she'll need sooner than anyone imagines. Riverside County Jail, intake processing, 12:07 a.m. Joanna sits at a metal table bolted to concrete floor. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead, the sound constant and drilling. A female officer takes her photo, front, side. The flash leaves spots in her vision. Fingerprints next, each finger pressed to the scanner. The officer's hands smell like latex and hand sanitizer. The computer beeps with each print, 10 times. Grant fills out paperwork at the desk. Form JC09. She can see it from here. Under detainee behavior, he checks cooperative. Strange. He just arrested her for being uncooperative. The contradiction doesn't seem to bother him. Change into this. The female officer hands her an orange jumpsuit. Size large. Too big. The fabric is stiff, industrial. Smells like bleach and 100 other bodies. She changes behind a partial divider. No real privacy, just a pretense. When she emerges, her Stanford sweatshirt and jeans are sealed in a plastic bag. Tagged, filed. She's no longer a person. She's detainee 84629. Grant looks up, studies her. His eyes linger on her hair. Natural locks, thick and beautiful, pulled back in a loose bun. He smirks. That's gonna be a pain to document. He says it to Mills, another officer, loud enough for Joanna to hear. Maybe we should, simplify it. Mills laughs. It's not a funny joke. It's a testing the water laugh, seeing if Grant is serious. Nah, come on. Wilson, the younger officer. 29, maybe 30. New enough to still have discomfort. That's what? Grant stands, walks over, circles Joanna like she's an object. Regulations say we need to document identifying features. Hair that complicated? Could hide contraband. I don't have contraband. Joanna's voice stays level. Judge voice, the voice that demands respect. Grant leans in. Nobody's gonna believe you anyway. Who are you? Nobody. He reaches for the equipment cabinet, pulls out an electric clipper, wall brand, number 3. She sees the label. She memorizes it. Sit. He points to the chair. No. It wasn't a request. Mills moves behind her. Not violent, just present. Hands on her shoulders, gentle pressure. Sit down. She could fight, could scream, could resist. But she's 5'6" and 130 pounds in a room with 3 men in uniform. She sits. Grant plugs in the clipper. The buzz starts. 400 hertz, a dentist drill sound that vibrates in her skull. He holds it like a pen. Casual. Like he's done this before. Last chance to cooperate. His voice has false kindness, mockery underneath. Joanna looks straight ahead, counts ceiling tiles. 1, 2, 3. Focuses on something she can control. Her breathing. In, out, in, out. The first pass. The clipper touches her scalp. Cool metal. Buzzing vibration. Hair falls. Thick locks hitting her shoulder, sliding down the orange jumpsuit, landing on concrete. Mills laughs. Not loud. Just a chuckle. Enough. Second pass. More hair. Grant works methodically. He's not angry. This isn't rage. It's sport. Entertainment. Team building. Wilson stands far back. Doesn't laugh. Phone in his hand, pointed down. She catches the movement from peripheral vision. He's filming. She files that away too. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 18 minutes total. The clipper runs in rhythmic passes, 3 seconds per stroke. Her scalp feels cold, exposed, air touching skin that hasn't been bare since childhood. Nobody speaks, just the clipper's buzz, the occasional chuckle, the sound of hair hitting floor, inmate in cell 7B next door. Soft tapping on the wall, not Morse code, just solidarity. Just, I hear you. I'm sorry. 18 minutes, 0029. The clipper stops. Silence. Sudden and complete. Grant unplugs it, sets it on the counter, wipes his hands on a towel like he's just finished a satisfying task. Much better. He pats Joanna's shoulder. She doesn't flinch, doesn't give him the reaction. Now you look, cleaner. She stands, looks him in the eye, doesn't blink, memorizes his face, every detail. The small scar above his left eyebrow, the way his uniform shirt is slightly untucked on the right side, the wedding ring on his finger. She will need these details later. Cell 7. Grant gestures. Mills escorts her down the hall. The floor is cold under her feet, standard-issue orange slides, thin, uncomfortable. The cell door closes, metal clang, lock clicks. She's alone. Joanna sits on the bunk, touches her head, stubble, maybe a quarter-inch left. She doesn't cry, doesn't scream, doesn't break. She counts. 247 ceiling tiles in the processing room, 18 minutes. 7 touches during the arrest. 3 officers. All evidence. All facts. All ammunition. Grant thinks he's won. Thinks he's put her in her place. Thinks nobody will believe a woman in an orange jumpsuit who couldn't even keep her hair. He's wrong. 16 hours from now, he'll know exactly how wrong. 7 a.m. Rachel Hayes walks into the bail processing office carrying a leather briefcase and 16 years of civil rights law experience. I'm here for Joanna Robe. Bail posting. The clerk looks up, types slowly. Robe, R-O-B-E. Yeah, we got her. Obstruction charge, bail's set at 500. I'll post it now. The clerk processes paperwork. Hayes signs. Timestamps 7:03 a.m. The bureaucracy of injustice moves slowly, deliberately slowly. Grant's signature is on the delay authorization. Hold until 1400 hours. Shift change. Make her wait. Hayes sits in the plastic chair. Waits. She's patient. She's done this before. 2:30 p.m. Finally. Joanna walks out. Head bare. Stubble where locks used to be. Orange jumpsuit exchanged for her street clothes. She doesn't speak. Doesn't need to. Hayes sees everything in her face. I brought your things from the car. Hayes hands over a bag, including the garment bag. They walk to Hayes's car in silence. Inside, Joanna exhales, first real breath in 15 hours. Tell me. Hayes starts the engine. Joanna tells her. Every detail. Every timestamp. Every name. Hayes listens. Doesn't interrupt. Takes mental notes. When Joanna finishes, Hayes pulls out a business card, sets it on the dashboard. We'll need this. The card reads, On, Joanna Robe, Superior Court Judge, Riverside County. I want to file today, Joanna says. Today? Today. Hayes drives Joanna home. Small apartment. Quiet. Joanna showers for 40 minutes. Hot water, soap, trying to wash off the jail smell, the touch of hands, the buzzing sound still echoing in her head. 2:45. She stands in front of the mirror, sees her bare scalp, traces her fingers over the stubble. Some women look powerful with shaved heads. She just looks stripped. But stripped can be rebuilt. 3:20. She opens her closet. The black garment bag hangs there. The backup robe from her car. Hayes brought it in. Joanna unzips the bag slowly. The silk is cool, heavy, familiar. She puts it on. White collar first, then the black robe over her shoulders. The weight settles. Comfort. Armor. Identity. She stands in front of the mirror again. Same woman. Different context. Bare head beneath judicial black. The contrast is stark. Powerful. Undeniable. Grant said nobody would believe her. Said she was nobody. Let's correct that misconception. 3:50. Hayes drives her back. Riverside County Jail, same building she left 90 minutes ago. You sure about this? Hayes parks. Completely. 4:03 p.m. Joanna walks through the front doors, signs the visitor log. Entry number 2847. Purpose. Official complaint filing. The receptionist barely glances up. Third floor, administration. Joanna takes the stairs. Each step deliberate. Shoes, black leather, click on concrete. The sound echoes, measured, steady, not running, not afraid. Third floor, administration hallway. Fluorescent lights, same as everywhere else. But this floor has carpet. Quieter, more official. Grant sits at a desk. Afternoon shift. Paperwork spread in front of him. He's filling out incident reports, probably hers, making sure the story matches. The door opens. Glass sliding on track. Smooth. Quiet. Footsteps on carpet. He doesn't look up immediately. Used to interruptions. Then the footsteps stop. 3 meters behind him. He feels it, that sixth sense when someone's watching. He stops writing, pen hovering over paper. Slowly, he turns. Black robe, white collar, badge of Riverside County Superior Court visible on the collar. Joanna Robe stands there, 5'6", bare head. But the robe changes everything. Context is power. Grant stands. Fast. Too fast. His chair scrapes the floor. Metal on carpet. Harsh sound. His pen falls, rolls off the desk, hits the floor. Good afternoon, Sergeant Grant. Her voice. The same voice from last night. But now it has different weight. This is the voice that says, court is now in session. The voice that compels truth. He swallows. She can see his throat move. Your Honor, No need for explanations now. She sets her briefcase on his desk, opens it, pulls out a folder. I'm here to file an official complaint. Assault, civil rights violation, unlawful detention. And perhaps we should discuss what you said last night. Grant opens his mouth. Nothing comes out. Nobody's gonna believe you said. She tilts her head slightly. Who are you? Nobody. Let me correct that misconception, Sergeant. I am Judge Joanna Robe, Superior Court, Riverside County. 15 years on the bench. I specialize in civil cases. I've presided over 42 police misconduct settlements. Mills appears in the doorway, sees Joanna, sees the robe, sees Grant's face. He backs out, silently. My attorney will file formal proceedings tomorrow morning, but I wanted you to see me first. Really see me. She pushes the folder across the desk. The woman you humiliated last night? She's the woman who will review your case when, not if, it reaches my courtroom. Grant looks down at the folder. His hands shake slightly. Joanna turns. The robe swings gently. Silk moving through air. She walks to the door, pauses, looks back. Oh, and Sergeant, that clipper you used, wall number 3, checked out at 0003, returned at 0029. Equipment logs are public record, as is the visitor log, as is everything that happened in that room. She steps through the door. It closes behind her. Automatic. Soft click. Grant stands frozen, stares at the door, stares at the folder, stares at his hands, still trembling. Wilson walks by. Stops. Tyler, was that? I know. Grant sits down slowly. I know who that was. He picks up his phone, calls the union rep. Morris, we have a problem. A big one. March 20th. Rachel Hayes sits in her office surrounded by paper. 600 pages printed. 34 phone calls made. 4 in-person interviews completed. Building a case isn't dramatic, it's documentation, it's patience. It's finding the thread and pulling until the whole system unravels. She starts with the camera. Every cell in Riverside County Jail has CCTV. 24/7 monitoring. Required by state law. Grant claimed the camera in cell block C malfunctioned that night. Hayes requests the footage. The jail sends a response. Technical failure. No footage available for 03/15/2024 00001 Yoquao. Convenient. But Hayes spent 8 years as a prosecutor. She knows systems. Security footage may fail, but system logs never lie. She files a separate request, not for footage, for metadata. Digital video recorder event logs. The back-end data that shows who accessed what and when. 3 days later, the logs arrive. Hayes opens the file, scrolls through, finds March 15th. 23:55:07. Camera C block disabled. Manual override. User, TG09. Terminal, admin. Desk, 3, 03142. Camera, C block re-enabled. User, TG09. Terminal, admin. Desk, 3, TG09. Tyler Grant's login credentials. He didn't just let the camera fail, he turned it off, deliberately, and turned it back on after. Hayes highlights the entries, prints them, first receipt. Next, the equipment log. Riverside County tracks every piece of equipment. Liability reasons, insurance reasons, everything signed out and signed in, including the clipper Grant used. Hayes requests the log. The jail resists. She threatens a subpoena. They comply. Equipment tracker report, March 15th, 2024. 000318, wall clipper number 3 checked out. Officer J. Mills. Purpose, grooming compliance. 02944, wall clipper number 3 checked in. Officer J. Mills. Condition, clean, 26 minutes. Exactly matching Joanna's timeline. From 0003 to 0029. 18 minutes of actual use. 8 minutes of setup and cleanup. Second receipt. Physical evidence matching testimony. But Mills signed it out, not Grant. Hayes makes a note. Mills is complicit, could be a witness, could flip if pressured. She interviews inmate 84629, the woman in cell 7B, next door to processing. The inmate's name is Sandra, arrested for shoplifting, 63 years old, terrified to talk. I don't want trouble. You won't get any, just tell me what you heard. Sandra sits in the interview room. Hayes records everything. Voice memo, backup recorder, written notes. I heard laughing, men laughing, and this sound like buzzing, electric buzzing. Went on a long time, maybe 20 minutes. Did you hear voices? Yeah. One guy said something like, "This is going to be good," or "This is perfect." I don't remember exact words, but they were laughing. It wasn't official. It was mean. Did you report this? Sandra looks down. Who would I report it to? The guards? Third receipt. Witness testimony. Hayes moves to internal affairs. Every jail has IA. Every IA has files. She requests records on Grant. Complaints. Investigations. Outcomes. The IA office stalls. 2 weeks of bureaucracy. Finally, under threat of court order, they release a summary. Tyler Grant, 18 years of service, 12 complaints filed, 12 complaints, 12 investigations opened, 12 results, unfounded. Hayes digs deeper, requests the actual case files. The IA resists harder. She gets a judge's order. Not Joanna, conflict of interest. Another judge, Patricia Caldwell, who happens to be Joanna's former mentee. The files arrive. Hayes spreads them out. 11 cases between 2021 and 2023. Case IA-21, Jo 88. Inmate alleges excessive force during intake. Investigation time, 31 hours. Result, unfounded. Case IA-22, 034. Inmate alleges verbal abuse and threats. Investigation time, 28 hours. Result, unfounded. Case IA-22, 156. Inmate alleges inappropriate touching. Investigation time, 29 hours. Result, unfounded. 11 cases. Average investigation time, 30 hours. All closed within 48 hours, all unfounded. Hayes sees the pattern. These aren't investigations. They're cover-ups. Rubber stamps. Fourth receipt. Pattern evidence. She pulls financial records next. This requires more legal leverage. County Comptroller reports. Public documents, but buried. She files Freedom of Information Act requests. Waits. 6 weeks later, the records arrive. Budget line items, discretionary funds, legal settlements. Fiscal year 2023. Line item 4788. Discretionary legal settlements. Total disbursed $340,000. Hayes cross-references dates, finds 11 payments. Each payment matches an IA case closure date. Amounts range from $15,000 to $45,000. Settlements, quiet payments. Hush money to inmates who complained. Close the case, seal the record, pay them off, move on. But the comptroller report shows more. Each settlement payment went to an anonymous trust account. No names, just account numbers. Hayes traces them. They lead to a law firm. Sterling and Associates, the firm that represents the police union. The money goes full circle. County pays settlement. Settlement goes to union's lawyers. Lawyers take their cut. Inmates get silenced. System protects itself. Fifth receipt. Financial evidence of systemic corruption. Hayes calls Joanna. You need to see this. They meet at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. Hayes spreads out the evidence. Timeline, equipment logs, witness statements, IA files, financial records. 11 victims in 3 years, all paid off, all buried. Hayes taps the financial report. This isn't about you. This is about a system that's been doing this over and over. Joanna studies the documents. Her face shows nothing. Judge face. But her hands grip the table edge. Can we prove it? We can prove the pattern. We can prove the cover-up. But we need more for criminal charges. We need the actual footage or audio. Something undeniable. The camera was off. Cameras plural. There are 4 cameras in that hallway. Grant turned off 1. What about the others? Hayes requests footage from adjacent hallways. The jail provides it. She watches hours of grainy video, sees Grant enter cell block C at 2358, sees Mills enter at 001, sees Wilson enter at 0004, sees all 3 exit at 0032. Timeline confirmed. 3 officers, not 2. 4 if you count the person who filmed. 6th receipt. Video timeline matching testimony. But something bothers Hayes. 4 people in that room. Grant, Mills, Wilson, and 1 more. The person holding the phone. Wilson was filming. That means a 4th person was present. She checks the sign-in log for that night. 4 names on duty in cell block C. Grant, Mills, Wilson, and Officer K. Patterson. But Patterson's log shows she was in the women's wing, different building. Someone's lying, or someone was there unofficially. Hayes digs into personnel records, finds Patterson's time card. She clocked out at 23:30, wasn't there during the incident. So who was the fourth person? She interviews Wilson. He's nervous, 29 years old, only 3 years on the force, doesn't have the armor yet, still has conscience. I need to know who else was in that room. Wilson looks away. I don't want to lose my job. You'll lose more than your job if you don't cooperate. Accessory to assault, civil rights violation, federal charges. He breaks. Takes 12 minutes. But he breaks. It was just us three, Grant, Mills, me, nobody else. Then who was filming? Silence. Wilson, who was filming? I was. Seventh receipt. Confession, and the possibility of video evidence. Hayes leans forward. Where's the video now? I deleted it. From your phone? Yeah. When? Next day. Grant told me to. Did you back it up anywhere? Cloud? Computer? No. I deleted it. Hayes knows how phones work. Deleted doesn't mean gone. It means hidden. Recoverable. For a while. I need your phone. What? I need your phone. I'm getting a court order. You can cooperate now, or I can subpoena it. Your choice. Wilson thinks, weighs his options, realizes he has none. If I give it to you, will you protect me? If you cooperate fully, I'll recommend leniency, but I can't promise immunity. That's up to the DA. He hands over his phone. Hayes bags it. Evidence chain intact. She takes it to a forensic specialist, former FBI, now private. Expensive, but worth it. 3 days later, he calls. Found it. Deleted items folder. Files intact. 4 minutes, 12 seconds. Audio's clear. 8th receipt. The video. The smoking gun. Hayes watches it once. That's enough. The buzzing. The laughter. Grant's voice. Teach this bitch a lesson. She thinks she's better than us. Clear. Undeniable. Prosecutable. She backs it up. 5 copies. Cloud storage. External drive. Encrypted email to herself. Another to her law partner. Chain of custody documented at every step. She calls Joanna. I have it. Have what? Everything. The system doesn't collapse quietly. It fights back. March 28th, 2 weeks after the incident. The police union holds an emergency meeting. Closed doors. No press. Just union reps, lawyers, and Captain Brian Hughes. They hire Reputation First. Public relations firm based in Los Angeles. Specializes in crisis management. Previous clients include politicians accused of corruption, corporations facing lawsuits, police departments under investigation. Retainer. $85,000. Their strategy arrives in an email. Sent March 30th. Leaked to Hayes 2 days later by a paralegal with a conscience. Subject. Phase 2. Medical narrative. Body. Discredit plaintiff via medical angle. Plant seeds competency. History of depression. Stress from mother's illness. Medication use. Need to establish pattern of instability prior to incident. Hayes reads it twice. Feels sick. They're not defending Grant's actions. They're attacking Joanna's credibility. April 2nd. The Riverside Tribune runs a story. Page 3. Small headline. Local judge under investigation for misconduct allegations. The article is vague. Mentions concerns about professional conduct. Cites anonymous sources within the legal community. Suggests Joanna's judgment may be compromised by personal stress. No mention of the jail incident. No mention of Grant. Just character assassination dressed as journalism. Hayes calls the Tribune, asks who wrote it. Reporter named Derek Chen. Hayes knows him. Covered courthouse news for years. Derek, what the hell is this? It's what I was told to write. By who? My editor. And your editor was told by who? Silence. Derek. Look, Rachel, I don't like it either, but the publisher's on the jail oversight board. He's former LAPD. This came from above my head. The newspaper won't run corrections, won't run Joanna's side. The system protects itself. April 5th. Worse news. Hayes gets a letter from the California State Bar. Someone filed an ethics complaint against her. Anonymous. Alleges she's pursuing frivolous litigation. Alleges she's coaching her client to fabricate testimony. Requests investigation. The complaint is baseless, but the process isn't. The bar has to investigate. During investigation, Hayes's license is temporarily suspended. She can't practice law for 60 days minimum, maybe longer. Joanna loses her lawyer right when she needs one most. I can refer you to someone else, Hayes says. They're sitting in Joanna's apartment, coffee going cold on the table between them. Someone good, not as familiar with the case, but competent. No, Joanna's voice is steady, tired but steady. We wait. You'll be reinstated. The complaint is garbage and they know it. It'll take months. Then it takes months. But the attacks don't stop. April 8th. Joanna's colleagues start distancing. 3 judges she's worked with for years suddenly don't return her calls. A lunch invitation gets canceled. A bench conference gets awkward when she enters the room. She hears the whispers. Mental breakdown. Mother's death affecting her judgment. Maybe she should take more time off. Nobody says it to her face, just behind her back, loud enough to hear, quiet enough to deny. Grant's attorney releases a statement Tuesday afternoon. My client denies all allegations. This appears to be a coordinated attack on the reputation of hard-working officers who serve this community with honor. Sergeant Grant has an exemplary record spanning 18 years. We will vigorously defend his character in court. The county administrator's office declines to comment, citing ongoing litigation. The pressure builds. Everywhere. All sides. April 10th, 4 a.m. Joanna's phone rings. It's the hospice nurse. I'm sorry. Your mother passed 20 minutes ago. She went peacefully. Joanna drives to the facility, sits with her mother's body, holds her hand even though it's already cooling, says goodbye in silence because words feel insufficient. Dorothy Robe, 78 years old, raised Joanna alone after her father left, worked 2 jobs to put her through college, lived long enough to see her daughter become a judge, died while her daughter fought for dignity. The funeral is April 14th. 11 people attend. Joanna's colleagues are conspicuously absent. Too busy, too uncomfortable, too afraid of association. Her mother deserved hundreds. She gets 11. Joanna sits in the front row, watches the casket lower. Rain falls lightly, the kind of rain that's more mist than drops. Umbrellas don't help much. Hayes sits beside her, holds her hand, says nothing. Sometimes silence is the only honest response. After the funeral, Joanna goes to her chambers at the courthouse. She's still technically on leave, but the building's open. She uses her key, takes the elevator to the 3rd floor. Her office is dark, dust on the desk, mail piled up. The robe hangs on the door, same robe she wore to confront Grant. Black silk, white collar, armor. She sits in her chair, looks at the robe, thinks about quitting. It would be easier. Take early retirement. Move away. Let the system win because fighting is exhausting and her mother is dead and nobody seems to care. She sits there 51 minutes. Doesn't cry. Doesn't pray. Just sits. Then she stands. Touches the robe. The silk is cool. Familiar. her mother's voice in her memory. Don't let them make you small, baby. Don't ever let them make you small. Joanna opens her laptop. 47 unread emails. She scrolls through, deletes the condolences that feel performative, deletes the thinking of you messages from people who never showed up, stops at one email. Subject line, Me Too, Cell Block D 2022. She clicks. The email is from an anonymous sender. Burner account. Created that day. Judge Robe, I saw the news. I know what they did to you. They did it to me too. Cell Block D, August 2022. Same officers, same joke. I was too scared to report it. Who would believe a woman with a record? But I believe you. And if you're fighting this, I want to help. A friend. Joanna reads it 3 times, types a response, deletes it, types again, deletes again. What do you say to someone who shares your trauma? Thank you feels insufficient. I'm sorry feels hollow. She settles on, You're not alone anymore. Neither am I. Sends it, closes the laptop, looks around her chambers. 15 years of work. Framed law degree from Stanford. Commendations. Photos from courthouse ceremonies. A life built on the belief that the system works, that justice is possible, that fairness exists if you follow the rules. Now she knows better. The system works for those who control it. Justice is possible if you have power. Fairness exists only when it's convenient. Her mother is dead. Her reputation is shredded. Her lawyer is suspended. Her colleagues won't speak to her. And somewhere, Tyler Grant is sleeping soundly, protected by a union and a bureaucracy that values order over truth. This is the bottom. This is what giving up feels like. She sits in the dark 51 minutes more. The office clock ticks. Fluorescent light from the hallway seeps under the door. The building is empty. Just her and ghosts. Her phone buzzes. Another email. Subject, Me Too, Cell Block A 2021. She opens it. Another anonymous account. Another story. Different woman. Same pattern. Same officers. Same dismissal. Then another email. Me Too, Cell Block C 2023. Another. Me Too, Processing 2022. Another. In 20 minutes, 17 emails arrive. 17 women, 17 stories buried. 17 voices finally speaking because one woman wore a robe and refused to disappear. Joanna reads every one. Some are short. I thought I was crazy. Thank you for fighting. Some are long, detailed accounts, dates, times, officer names, everything they remember. One email includes a photo, a medical report from County Health Services. Treated for scalp laceration following intake altercation. The date is March 2022. The attending physician noted, Patient reports excessive force during hair removal. Visible injury consistent with account. Evidence, documentation, proof. Joanna forwards every email to Hayes, copies herself, creates a folder. Witnesses. Her phone rings. Hayes. Are you seeing this? I'm seeing it. Joanna's voice sounds different, stronger. How many now? 43 emails in the last hour. They're coming from everywhere. Women who were inmates, women who witnessed it. One from a former guard who quit because she couldn't stomach what she saw. Can we use this? Yes, if they're willing to testify. If they're willing to go public. It's risky for them. Criminal records make credibility harder. But the sheer number? The pattern? This changes everything. Joanna looks at the robe hanging on her door, touches the sleeve. Schedule a press conference. Joanna, wait. Think about this. Once we go public, there's no taking it back. The media will dissect your life. They'll attack these women. The system will fight harder. Let it fight. I'm done being quiet. Your mother just died. You're grieving, you're exhausted, maybe we should— My mother didn't raise someone who quits. Schedule the conference. Silence on the line. Then Hayes. Okay, I'll make calls. Joanna hangs up, opens her laptop again, starts typing a statement. The words come easier now. Clear, direct, undeniable. On March 15th, 2024, I was illegally detained, assaulted, and humiliated by officers sworn to protect and serve. I stayed silent initially out of shock, then out of fear, then out of grief when my mother passed. But I'm not silent anymore, and neither are the 43 women who have contacted me with their own stories. This isn't about one bad officer. This is about a system that protects abusers and silences victims. Today, that silence ends. She saves the document, closes the laptop, looks at her mother's photo on the desk, Dorothy Robe, smiling. Proud. Strong. I won't let them make me small, Mama. I promise. She leaves the courthouse, drives home, sleeps for the first time in 3 days, doesn't dream, just rests. The next morning, her inbox has 217 emails, all beginning the same way. Me too. April 20th. The emails keep coming. 217 becomes 250, then 300. Then they stop counting and start organizing. Hayes creates a secure Google Drive, password protected, encrypted, uploads every testimony, every medical record, every piece of evidence sent by survivors. 34 women provide sworn statements, notarized, willing to testify. Names, dates, details. The pattern is undeniable. Cell block C, cell block D. Processing. Intake. All the same spaces, all the same officers, all variations of the same abuse. One woman reports being strip-searched 3 times in one night. For contraband, they said. Found nothing. Did it anyway. Another reports verbal harassment, sexual comments, threats. You're pretty for a convict. Maybe we should keep you longer. Another reports physical assault, shoved against a wall during booking, left bruises, medical report confirms it. IA report says unfounded. The stories stack up, evidence piling like bricks, building a wall they can't knock down. Justice. Now coalition reaches out. Civil rights organization. 30 years of police accountability work. They offer resources, legal support, media contacts. We want to help, their director says. This is bigger than Riverside. This is systemic, national. We need to make noise. Hayes accepts. They need the support. They need the megaphone. A blogger named Sarah Chen contacts them, runs a site called Truth Lens, investigative journalism, specializes in criminal justice issues. She's been following the case since the Tribune article. I don't trust mainstream media on this, Sarah says. They're too cozy with law enforcement. Let me tell the real story. She spends 2 weeks interviewing survivors, verifying facts, building a timeline. Her article publishes May 15th. Title: The Clipper Pattern, How Riverside County Jail Systematically Abused Women for 3 Years. The piece is exhaustive, 42 pages, every claim sourced, every name verified, photos of medical reports, screenshots of IA dismissals, timeline matching equipment logs. It goes viral. 70,000 shares in 24 hours. National outlets pick it up. CNN, MSNBC, The Washington Post. Hashtag starts trending. Justice for Judge Robe. But it's not just about Joanna anymore. It's #justice for cell block D. #justice for all of them. The hashtags multiply. The movement grows. Local activists organize a protest, May 22nd, outside Riverside County Jail. 500 people show up. Signs, chants, speeches from survivors. Joanna doesn't speak, doesn't want the spotlight. This isn't about her, it's about all of them. But she stands in this crowd, listens, A young woman takes the microphone. 24 years old. Arrested for drug possession 2 years ago. They shaved my head because I wouldn't stop crying. Said I was hysterical. Said I needed to calm down. Maybe if I looked different, I'd act different. I was 19. I was scared. And they thought it was funny. The crowd is silent. Then someone starts clapping. Then everyone. Joanna feels something shift. This is what power looks like. Not a robe, not a title. Just people standing together saying, "No more." Hayes gets a call. The state bar. Her suspension is lifted. The ethics complaint was dismissed. Anonymous complaints without evidence don't hold up, especially when the entire internet is watching. She's back. Full license. Full power. "Let's finish this," she tells Joanna. But there's one more thing they need. The thing that will make the case unbreakable. Wilson's phone is still with the forensic specialist. The video is recovered, but Hayes wants more. Wants to make absolutely sure it's authentic, unedited, admissible. The specialist runs every test. Metadata analysis, audio forensics, timestamp verification. He checks compression artifacts, looks for signs of manipulation. 3 weeks later, he gives his report. It's clean, original file, unedited, recorded on an iPhone 12 at the time and date stamped in the metadata. Audio is clear, no filtering, no enhancement needed. This is as real as it gets. Hayes calls Joanna. "We have everything. I'm filing Monday." "What are we filing?" "Emergency injunction. Stop the county from destroying any more evidence. Force them to preserve all records. And we're requesting a hearing. Public. On record. Let everyone see what they did." Joanna closes her eyes. Breathes. "Do it." Monday morning. Hayes files. The courthouse clerk timestamps it. 9:47 a.m. By noon, the media knows. By evening, it's national news. By the next morning, the county realizes they can't make this disappear. June 8th. Hayes receives a call from an unknown number. She almost doesn't answer. But something makes her pick up. "Ms. Hayes, this is Officer Kevin Wilson." She sits up. Records the call immediately, legal in California with one-party consent. "Officer Wilson, what can I do for you?" "I need to talk to you, in person. Not here, not anywhere official." "Why?" "Because I have something you need. And if anyone finds out I'm talking to you, I'm done." They meet at a coffee shop. Neutral territory. Wilson arrives wearing civilian clothes, baseball cap, sunglasses, trying not to be recognized. He sits across from Hayes, doesn't order anything, just sits. "I didn't delete the video," he says. Hayes keeps her expression neutral. "I already have the video. Forensics recovered it." "Not that video, the full video." "What full video?" "The one on my phone was 4 minutes 12 seconds. But I recorded for 7 minutes. I stopped and started the recording. The version you have is the second part. The part after it was already happening." Hayes leans forward. "Where's the first part?" "I backed it up. Same night. Sent it to myself. Email. Then deleted the email. But it's still in my trash folder. I never emptied it." "Why are you telling me this now?" Wilson looks down, plays with a napkin, tears it into small pieces. "Because I can't sleep. Haven't slept right in 3 months. I see her face. I hear the clippers. I hear Grant laughing. And I did nothing. Stood there. Filmed it. Went home. And did nothing." "Why did you film it?" "I don't know. Evidence? Insurance? Maybe I knew it was wrong. Maybe I thought I'd need proof someday that I wasn't the one doing it. I don't know. But I have it. And you need to see it." He opens his laptop, shows her the email in trash. Subject: Backup. Sent to himself. March 15th, 1:43 a.m. Attachment. Video file. 7 minutes, 38 seconds. I need to take this, Hayes says. I know. And you need to testify. I know. Your career is over. I know. Wilson closes the laptop, looks at her. But maybe I can sleep again. Hayes takes the laptop, downloads the file. 3 copies. Immediate backup. Chain of custody logged. Then she watches it. The first 3 minutes are set up. Grant and Mills talking. Joanna sitting in the chair. Grant holding the clippers, testing them, buzzing them near her ear, taunting. Then Grant speaks. Clear audio. No background noise. Teach this bitch a lesson. She thinks she's better than us. Walking in here with that attitude, that hair, like she's special. Let's show her what special gets you. Mills laughs. You sure about this? Nobody's gonna believe her anyway. Who is she? Nobody. Just another inmate who couldn't follow simple instructions. Then the clippers start. The rest matches what they already have. But this first part, the premeditation, the malice, the explicit intent, this changes everything. This isn't misconduct. This is conspiracy. This is assault with intent. This is a hate crime. Hayes calls the forensic specialist. I need you to verify another video. Drop everything. This is priority 1. He works overnight, checks every frame, every audio signature, every metadata point. Morning call. It's authentic, same phone, same time, same location, sequential recording. This was shot right before the other video. It's the missing piece. Hayes calls Joanna. We have it. Have what? The confession, Grant's explicit intent. On video, undeniable. The DA can't ignore this. This is criminal. Joanna sits down, processes. When do we release it? Not yet. We submit it with the injunction hearing, make them see it in court first, on the record, with Grant sitting right there. Then it becomes public record. Then the world sees it. When's the hearing? Judge Caldwell set it for September 12th. 3 months. We wait, we prepare, we make sure everything is perfect. 3 months is a long time. 3 months means we do this right. Means we don't give them any room to appeal, any room to dismiss, any room to make this disappear. We want justice? We do it by the book. Joanna agrees. 3 months of waiting. 3 months of pressure. 3 months of wondering if the system will finally work. Wilson resigns from the police force. June 15th. No explanation given. Just gone. Grant and Mills stay on duty. Suspended with pay pending investigation. The union protects them. But the video exists now. Backed up. Verified. Waiting. September 12th can't come fast enough. Pause here. Think about courage. Wilson knew for 6 months, stayed silent, then chose truth over his career. Comment below, is redemption possible for someone who witnesses injustice and does nothing at first? September 12th, Riverside County Superior Court. Courtroom 4, 100 seats, all filled. Overflow in the hallway, press, activists, survivors, lawyers, public. Judge Patricia Caldwell presiding. Joanna's former mentee, now her colleague. The irony isn't lost on anyone. Caldwell enters. All rise. Everyone stands. The bailiff announces, the Honorable Patricia Caldwell presiding. Case number SC 2024-007832. Robe versus County of Riverside. Emergency injunction hearing. Be seated. The room settles. Caldwell looks at the gallery. Sees Joanna sitting in the front row. Their eyes meet. Brief nod. Acknowledgement. Ms. Hayes, you may proceed. Rachel Hayes stands, approaches the podium. No notes. She doesn't need them. She's lived this case for 6 months. Your Honor, this case is about power, about abuse, about a system that protects predators and silences victims. On March 15th, Judge Joanna Robe was illegally detained, assaulted, and humiliated by officers of the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. But this isn't just about Judge Robe. It's about 43 other women who experienced similar abuse. It's about a pattern of misconduct spanning 3 years. It's about equipment logs, camera footage, financial records, and a system that chose cover-up over accountability. She speaks for 15 minutes, methodical, detailed. Every claim backed by evidence. Every accusation supported by documentation. Grant sits at the defense table, uniform pressed, medals visible, playing the part of the decorated veteran. His lawyer sits beside him. Expensive suit. Sterling and Associates. Union money. When Hayes finishes, Grant's lawyer stands. Your Honor, my client has served this community for 18 years with distinction. These allegations are baseless attacks orchestrated by individuals with grudges against law enforcement. The video Ms. Hayes references lacks context. Yes, my client's language was unprofessional. He's apologized for that, but words are not crimes. His actions were within the scope of his duties maintaining order in a chaotic environment. Caldwell listens. Face neutral. Then, I'd like to see this video. The bailiff dims the lights. Screen lowers. Everyone watches. 7 minutes, 38 seconds. Every word. Every laugh. Every stroke of the clippers. Joanna sitting motionless. Hair falling. Grant's voice. Teach this bitch a lesson. The courtroom is silent. No one moves. No one coughs. No one breathes loud enough to disturb the audio. When it ends, lights come back up. Caldwell's eyes are wet. She blinks. Composes herself. Does the defense have a response? Grant's lawyer stands. Opens his mouth. Closes it. Tries again. Your Honor, as I said, the language was inappropriate. But the context... I saw the context, Counselor. I saw 7 minutes of premeditated assault. I saw malice. I saw 3 sworn officers abusing their authority. What context justifies that? The inmate, the detainee, was uncooperative during booking. Judge Robe, Caldwell corrects. Her name is Judge Joanna Robe, and she was cooperative according to your client's own intake form, which is Exhibit 12 in Ms. Hayes' filing. Did you read your own evidence? Silence. Caldwell turns to Joanna. Your Honor, would you like to address the court? Joanna stands, walks to the podium, doesn't bring notes, doesn't need them either. Thank you, Judge Caldwell. I don't have much to add. The evidence speaks for itself. I'm here because 43 women couldn't be, because the system failed them, failed me, failed everyone who believes justice is possible. I wore my robe to that jail because I wanted Sergeant Grant to see me. Really see me. Not as an inmate. As a human being. As someone with power. With voice. With rights. He didn't care then. Maybe he cares now. Maybe he doesn't. But the law cares. And that's why we're here. She sits. Caldwell takes a breath. Looks at her notes. Looks at Grant. Looks at the gallery. I'm granting the injunction. The county is hereby ordered to preserve all records, all evidence, all documentation related to this case, and the 11 similar cases referenced in plaintiff's filing. Furthermore, I am referring this matter to the California Attorney General's Office for Criminal Investigation, and I am ordering an independent review of the Riverside County Jail's internal affairs procedures. Gavel falls. The courtroom erupts. Not chaos, just release, applause, tears, relief. Joanna sits still, doesn't smile, doesn't celebrate, just nods. Justice isn't victory, it's accountability, and accountability is just beginning. October 15th. Tyler Grant is terminated. No pension, no benefits, criminal charges pending. Mills and Officer Patterson, terminated October 20th. Wilson, suspended 6 months, transferred to administrative duties. He cooperates with investigators, testifies against his former partners. It doesn't absolve him, but it's something. Captain Brian Hughes, early retirement, No charges. Just gone. The county settles. $2.4 million to Joanna. $850,000 divided among 34 other survivors. Admission of no wrongdoing. Standard language. But the money speaks louder than words. Policy changes. Body cameras mandatory during all intake procedures. Independent Oversight Committee. New IA director from outside the department. Monthly audits. Will it be enough? Time will tell. Systems don't change overnight, but they can start. November 1st. Joanna returns to the bench. First case, domestic violence protection order. She puts on her robe. The same robe. The one she wore to confront Grant. The one that transformed from backup to armor to symbol. All rise. She enters her courtroom, sees familiar faces, colleagues who disappeared during the fight. Now they're back, supportive, convenient. She sits. The gavel feels heavier than before, or maybe she just notices the weight now. Court is now in session. Joanna Robe is different. The woman who drove home that night in March doesn't exist anymore. This woman knows systems break, knows justice is fragile, knows silence enables evil. But she also knows 217 people found their voice. 43 testified. One video changed everything. They laughed while shaving her head. She never said a word that night. But 16 hours later, she walked back in wearing her robe, and the system had no choice but to listen. Dignity is not negotiable. The robe doesn't make you untouchable. Justice does. If this story moved you, comment below. Share your own story. Silence protects abusers. Your voice matters. Subscribe for more stories that need to be heard. Hit that like button if you believe accountability is possible. 217 voices, one truth. No more silence.